Hey, everybody. Welcome back to On the Verge, your conservative voice of Southern Oregon. And we took a week off last week. I was down in Las Vegas doing some other cool legislative stuff that only cool legislators get to do with hot rods. So it was pretty cool. We have a lot to talk about tonight, and we have a guest with us tonight that knows a lot about the topic we're going to talk about. And I'm going to introduce you to him in just a second. He's no stranger to this show. He's been on here before. But first, I want to acknowledge a couple of our sponsors, and I always do that at the beginning of the show. Twin Peaks Off-Road, that's my company, and one of our major sponsors here. Becky Holm Insurance. If you need insurance, any insurance needs, we'll have some information here for you in about 20 minutes on how to get a hold of her. Andrea Williams with Advocare. She has her own Advocare business, and great lady. She will help you feel better, and they will be talking about her. And, of course, Little Mill Media. And like I always tell everybody, if you don't like what we have to say, and there's plenty of people out there that don't, please don't listen to us. Come down here and see Justin at Little Mill Media and start your own podcast. And then you can say whatever the hell you want. We're going to say it too. So and if you do like listening to us and you like the conservative point of view, please stay with us and listen to us and like and follow us. And we're on YouTube Live now too, as well as 13 channels, other things like Apple Music and Spotify and Amazon Music. So feel free to join us on all of those. Again, I remind everybody tonight, we do also have the ability to ask questions. You can put your question in the comment, and I anticipate we'll probably have a lot of questions tonight for our guests. We also have the ability to, you can just comment if you'd like, and we'll try to keep up with those. And Tracy, hi, I see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please tell all your friends. All right, with that said, I'm going to, without further ado, I want to introduce our guest tonight, and then we'll introduce our co-host as well. But let's start out with our guest. Ed, who are you?
Well, you know who I am, Virgil. I'm the state rep for House District 17, and which covers East Salem through the majestic Santiam Canyon. And honored to serve with you, Virgil, in the legislature.
Hey, Ed, thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on our show. One thing I really like about this conservative podcast is the fact that we only talk about facts and we only tell the truth. So, I will tell you there are some people that think probably full of crap, and that's fine. That's their opinion. But we're gonna tell you the truth as we know it, and we don't act like politicians on here. We are transparent. And Ed, you and I have been friends for a while now, and I appreciate serving with you too. And to my right, my co-host, I don't know, who's this guy?
Hey, everybody. Trent Drake here. I'm the executive chair for the Douglas County Republican Party and Virgil's campaign manager going into the campaign season again.
I know it seems like we're campaigning way too often.
Yeah.
It's constant. Every 2 years is pretty crazy.
It is. But on the other hand, it also, I think, keeps people, keeps the job. This is not a part-time job. I mean, they call it a part-time job. It pays part-time job wages, but I don't know, Ed. When's the last time you worked 8 hours in a day?
Yeah, not even close to a part-time gig. They lied to me when I talked. It's part-time.
So before we get into the meat of tonight's conversation, I want to just kind of touch base on a few things. I know, Ed, I believe you were just at a veterans parade. I think I saw you on social media, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
I was there before the parade and I had to scoot out, but we were, it was going to be a big parade. Albany does a great job with the Veterans Day parade. Rep. Shelley Bossart Davis was in the parade.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I was there to do some filming for a circulator training video that we're putting together for volunteer petition signature gatherers, volunteer circulators. And so I was there with Ben Roche, and he's got his Let Us Paddle initiative.
Okay.
It was great. He was going down, talking to people there ready for the parade, getting their signature. And so we were just doing some video shoots for a general purpose volunteer circulator video that we should have together in the next few days.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's the hard work behind the scenes that you're doing, and OFC as well is doing, that's going to make this referendum that we're going to talk about later successful.
We're really building an infrastructure that we can reuse, and we're building it in rapid time, rapid deployment.
Well, I think we're doing it right, and
Yes, I think so too.
that's the big thing. Let's see. So we had our Roseburg Veterans Parade today too, and it was an amazing time. I was actually in the parade. We had our commissioners as well as Senator Brock Smith was in the parade as well. It was, and I'm going to have to get David a Jeep. He's going to have to buy a Jeep because if you're in leadership in Roseburg area, you're supposed to own a Jeep, I guess.
A red Jeep.
Yeah, red Jeep.
Red Jeep.
It was pretty amazing. I would guess that there was at least 2,000 people watching.
Great.
Yeah, it could have been more. I know I ran out of candy before I got halfway through. We were throwing candy out. We bought $60 worth of candy. We should have bought $120 worth of candy. But it's just awesome seeing the kids out there on the corner. I always look at Veterans Parade as a little bit of teaching history. It's like, because those kids are going to have questions. Why are those gentlemen walking down the street in uniform? Why are they older gentlemen that they're still having the uniform on? And they'll ask those questions and hopefully to the right person, and they'll explain to them. So I think it's like teaching history. Did you make it today, Trent? Or?
I didn't. I had clients all through the day. I really had intentions of going too, because it's part of my history growing up when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Of course, I was part of the state champion Douglas High School marching band, and that was part of my memories.
I didn't know you were in a marching band.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I played the saxophone.
You played the saxophone. Huh, well,
Yeah.
At least you weren't a drummer.
Nah, chicks dig the saxophone.
Just like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, but I was better.
I'm not even going to open that can of stuff. I'm going to leave that one.
Hell yeah.
So a couple more things I just want to touch base on real quick before we get into the big topic tonight. Trump Reagan dinner we have coming up here in Roseburg.
We do.
And Trent, I wanted you to talk about that a little bit because I think it's super important.
Yeah.
If you're a Republican, particularly, it would be a great thing to show up for. We're going to have some good speakers and go ahead.
We have some good speakers. We still have a few seats left. It's going to be at the Winston Community Center on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which is, I believe, the 29th. Doors open at 3:30. You can go to Douglas County Republicans and to the events tab, and I believe, and sign up online.
You have a new website up, right? Or new Facebook or something new. I think I went on there the other day. I was like, okay, this looks like it's been updated.
It's been updated.
Updated.
So
Okay.
it was before me.
Okay.
So,
Fantastic.
Yeah, but we look forward to it because we get to celebrate presidents in our lifetime. So and we're going to celebrate some great volunteers there and have some great speakers and some great food.
Yeah.
And have some very cool. We've brought silent auction into the future. So
you're gonna do it on the phones.
Oh yeah, we've got it. It's all set up. It's cool. We've got some great people.
Okay.
Sean Garrett and Danny Anderson are heading that up, and they are doing an amazing job.
Well, I will tell you that for one of the auction items, my chief of staff, Jen, who is probably and Ed will argue this, but I'm going to tell you she's the best chief of staff in the building.
I don't know about
that. but she put together a coffee basket that's got all kinds of cool.
Yeah.
She's into that whole Dutch Bros
Yeah.
thing.
Well, we did a wine basket.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I bet mine goes for more money.
I don't know.
I might have to buy it myself.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's coming up. Again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out, comment, ask myself or Trent. The other thing I wanted to just briefly bring up is that the government shutdown looks like it's on its way out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, I'll call this a victory for Trump. I think the guy's a negotiator, right? And he knows when to call him, and he did it. And I think that we're going to be a better country for the fact that he has the I don't want to cuss, but he has the guts to stay where he needs to stay and give where he needs to. So I'm glad that's over. And that leads me to the last thing I want to mention. And that is, since we weren't here last week, I was down in Vegas at the SEMA convention. So I was asked to join actually the SEMA Legislative Leadership Caucus. And what that is legislators from all over the country that come to the SEMA show together, and we have meetings and talk about different things that impact our automotive industry. And you don't really realize how huge of an industry it is, or how big that show is until you start looking at the numbers. And There was 160,000 people at that show
Right.
over the course of about 4 days. There were 3,000 booths in which are different companies. Of the 3,000 companies that were there, less than 20% of them were large companies.
Right.
So almost all of them are 1 to 100 employees. And I mean, that's what drives the economy.
Yep.
And so needless to say, there was a lot of talk and a lot of discussion about different bills. We don't have to go into all those details. But one thing I do want to say is this year was much different than last year when it came to the focus on electric cars and EVs. Last year, they walked us all through an entire booth, which was pretty good size, probably 200 feet long and 100 feet deep, of different electric cars that they've came up with over the years. Or well, not over the years, recently. And some of them were pretty cool. There were some electric cars there, but the majority of what was really important now has switched to hydrogen-powered cars. And now what they're focusing on is, rather than going to electric cars, they're lightening the cars, carbon fiber frames, carbon fiber bodies, higher horsepower. There's actually a 3D printed Chevelle, I think it was, on a stand there that was ultralight, and it was like 800 horsepower, some crazy number, something like that. Yeah, and of course those are all concepts, but it was interesting to me to see that, because last year the focus was the entire world was going to go electric. Now, from where we live here, that's like, we have our opinions and what have you, but the reality of it is that changes an industry. I mean, if you think about the industry of automotive parts manufacturers that build, like, say, camshafts for small block Chevy engines or even newer engines, what are they going to do? I mean, if they're forced out of business, they've got to come up with something to continue forward into the future. Right. And that's just one of thousands of different parts that are manufactured. So now the other emphasis I saw, which was kind of sad, was the influence of the Chinese. I mean, there was every section of the SEMA show has its own section of just imported stuff, and it's all knockoffs. I mean, you walk down the aisle, you see, I have particular interest in off-road stuff, so you'll see 20 different winches, and the last 5 or 6 look exactly like the first 15, right? And they're not made here; they're made in China, and that's one thing I do think the tariffs hopefully will help with, to eliminate some of the basically theft of engineering and theft of design that's happening right now with China.
We got a problem with that in the timber industry too. So
yeah, I'll bet.
Wood products industry. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go on my social media and check out all the pictures. Jen took a ton. I took a ton. It was a great experience. Okay. We're going to come up against a commercial break here in just a few minutes. So I want to go ahead and start on this referendum business, Ed. So
sure.
So give me a couple of minutes of that, and then we'll go to commercial and we'll come back and continue on.
You bet. Well, the governor finally got around to signing the bill on late Friday. So she dragged it out. She could have dragged it out till the 12th, tomorrow, but she decided to sign it on Friday toward the end of the day, and didn't tell anybody. Didn't tell the clerk of the House. And it's kind of unprecedented. No, they didn't know.
Oh, I did not know that.
They didn't know. But on Saturday, I heard a rumor that she'd signed the bill. So I texted her office. It didn't get a response. Senator Starr called her, didn't get a response. So we pulled in Monday morning ready to drop our paperwork, and nothing. It's not ready. OLS isn't updated. So I drove home. Right as I got to Sublimity, they come and say that she dropped a press release that says it's signed. And so we turned around and walked our paperwork into the Secretary of State. Secretary of State has been very responsive, and they turned our paperwork around. So after the break, I can give you the plan of attack moving forward.
So the Secretary of State, who is also very much a Democrat, do you think that he's just being responsive, knowing full well that they will have a lawsuit on their hands if they give any preferential treatment in one way or the other?
Well, I think that they are trying to do things by the book, just as we are trying to do things by the book. And they also see this as very high profile. And I don't think it would look very good if they drug this out. And the other thing is we've been working with them. We've been on the phone with them regularly leading up to this. They knew we were coming. They knew time was of the essence, and they made it a priority.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate what they did, and they've been actually very good to work with on this thing. So I hope that continues through this whole process. But right now, I frankly, I want to thank them for the assistance they've given us to get to this point.
Good. Fantastic. And we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this thing here right after our little break. But I did see a question come up about Measure 114, and I think Trent answered it. The Supreme Court is still in deliberation over it right now. From my understanding, and I didn't get a chance to watch it. It's not like we did a good job on the hearing side for our side.
I've heard that our side did a great job.
Yeah.
The attorney did a wonderful job with it.
So hopefully we have a favorable outcome.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I want to do now, normally we go to cut to commercial breaks, but we have a couple of new sponsors and we have incredible sponsors. So I am going to read off their sponsor commercial. I'm not very good at commercials, but I can read. So I'll make it up better. You want me to start?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna give you Andrea Williams with care tonight. So this is her ad. Feeling tired, sluggish, or just worn down from gloomy weather or back to rain? It's time to get an energy and confidence back. Andrea Williams with Avocare helps people clean away those naggy mental cobwebs, lose weight, boost energy with Spark, and feel incredible again. And I have tried Spark. I can vouch. It's a great product. I actually have some. Visit healthyhabittribe.org. That's healthyhabittribe, all one word, .org. Or reach out to Andrea Williams on Facebook and start feeling amazing today. And I will tell you, she's a great lady, and she's selling a great product. So
absolutely,
you have my endorsement on that. And I don't know if you've ever tried it, but it's good stuff.
And Andrea is a friend of mine. She has an amazing life story and how Avocare changed her life. So you should go talk with her. So I get to talk tonight about it's that time of year again. I'm almost, but not quite old enough to talk about it. It's not hunting season. And I'm talking about the annual enrollment for Medicare. Still got a few years to go, Ed. And the marketplace.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
To find out what Medicare just did for you, give my friend Becky Holm a call. She will take the time to explain your choices, help you come to a decision that's right for you. Plans change, doctors change, the plans they accept, or your medication list may have changed. Regardless of the change, Becky's here to guide you through it. She's licensed in several states and based right here in Roseburg. Call Becky Holm, 541-900-6001.
Yeah, and as an insurance agent, right now it's trying times.
And that's her specialty. That's her focus is Medicare.
So we're going to cut to a commercial, but real quick before I saw a comment from Commissioner Freeman, there are also several federal cases still active on Measure 114, and I believe one of those is his. He was one of the folks that filed a federal case against it. So yes, thank you. And again, I think I worked with the commissioners today. Well, we did the parade today. Great bunch of folks that are all supportive of our community. So with that, we're going to cut to a real quick commercial. I believe we just have one commercial today, and that's my company. So we want you to hear the greatest company in the world. So in about 30 seconds. Thanks.
Is your 4x4 ready for the trail? Twin Peaks Off-Road is your first stop for maintenance, repairs, and custom upgrades. From differential services to winch installs, we do it all. Fast, reliable, and built for adventure. Don't wait for breakdowns in the backcountry. Call Twin Peaks Off-Road today at 541-900-0015 or visit twinpeaksoffroad.net. Keep your 4x4 off the roads and in the adventure.
All right, everybody, welcome back to On the Verge, your conservative voice of Southern Oregon. And we have some great guests tonight. Representative Ed Deihl is on here with us, and he's going to be explaining to us in the second half of our show all about the referendum and what we are planning on doing to get rid of this tax. And that doesn't mean that we may not get another one in the future, but that's okay. We're building a system. So, Ed, go ahead.
Well, first, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What are you on the verge of?
Greatness. I'm always
greatness. I knew it.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for it.
Victory, greatness, something like that. Winning. We're on the verge of winning.
You want to hear the story real quick? So a 30-second, I'll tell you the story. So we're sitting at Looking Glass Brewery,
having beer.
having a beer, and we were with Phil Morgan.
A lot of good ideas.
A lot of good ideas.
Beer.
And Grant and I are like, I'm like, we got to start a podcast because people need to hear the truth. We got to be able to get the message out there. And Phil, of course, was like, yeah, that's great. You should. And Phil's a great guy. And so Trent and I, we got to come up with a name. And Phil looks at me and says, well, On the Verge. And I'm like, done.
Yeah.
I think it's a great name. I think it's awesome.
It was the magic of the beer.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a lot like pie. Pie can cure things. Beer fixes everything.
If you've ever named like a dog or something, if you've ever named something, you didn't even have to think twice. That was it. It's like, it's great. So
You
anyway,
name your dog beer?
well, I could name it beer.
Yeah, there you go.
My dog would, if he'd bring me a beer, I'd probably name him something else. Anyway, all right. So as we left off, Ed, we were talking about the referendum and kind of how the process is playing out with our governor. So go ahead now, if you would, and finish telling us what we're going to do next.
You bet. So we'll dive right into the logistics here. So we have an approved referendum. So it's on the Secretary of State's website now. It's all there. But there's a few steps that need to happen before we can actually print petitions and get to work. They've basically, think of it this way, they've submitted to us draft templates. So we have to go back to them with, it's called a modification form. And so we will modify those templates to be exactly like we want. And then once those are approved, then we give them paper samples of the sheets. So for example, if you have some petitions on 20-pound paper and some on 24, that's two different versions. That's two modifications. And we have to give them paper copies to show what those sheets will look like. They're very particular about the petition sheets. Also, you have 10-line sheets. You might have 5-line and 3-line. And then if you have paid circulators, those have to be a different color. So all those things have to be submitted to the Secretary of State in advance before you can actually start printing copies of your petition. And it also means that we want strict control over printing those petitions. The only exception to that is with what's called the e-sheet, which is the single signer sheet. That is specifically made to print at home. They know it's going to be on different types of paper. They're not as picky about it. And that one will be available online on our website. You can download it, print it out, sign it, and send it on. But all the other normal sheets that you see when a guy has a clipboard, those are all going to be controlled and printed with our printers by our.
Okay. So once you download and print at home, it has to be printed, signed, and then where does it get mailed to?
It'll get mailed back to us. Okay. So we're the collector of all of the signatures, all of the sheets. And so what we will be doing is gathering all those sheets and then doing 100% audit on every one of those lines. So we will verify each line with the database that we're going to grab one probably this week or next week. We're going to grab the latest and greatest database from the Secretary of State that gives us all the active voters as well as the inactive voters. And so we've got some tool sets that I'm using. They use some AI. There's some tech software in there that will do a 100% scan of all these sheets and tell us which ones are inactive, which ones they don't understand, which ones look, are even not even on the voter registration. And then we will inspect each one of those lines with a person to validate what the software told us. So the whole idea is if we find an invalid line, there's an invalid signature, the voter's actually inactive, we'll draw a line through that before we send it off to the Secretary of State. Now, why do you do that? Because the Secretary of State does their own audit. They will pull a sampling of our sheets. I think it's 5%. They will pull 5% of our sheets, and they will do a visual inspection. And if in those 5% they find 10% error, they apply that to the whole population of sheets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they're just doing a statistical sample and figuring out what our error rate is. So if we find the errors first and cross them out, those do not count against us. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not an error. We corrected our sheet before we submitted it. So we believe, we're optimistic that our error rate will be better than typical. But our goal is still to gather a lot of signatures to make sure we have plenty of cushion there.
Yeah. So a couple of things. First off, Scott Kaiser joined us. Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Scott is one of our star petition captains.
Yep.
He's not too far from me. He's just north of me in Malala. He's doing an awesome job.
Great guy. Yeah, he was on our podcast here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's a super good dude. How many signatures do we need, Ed?
So our goal, well, we have to get 78,116 signatures, I think.
Okay.
Our goal is 100,000 signatures. Plenty of buffer. 100,000 signatures in 30 days. That's our goal. Our true deadline is December 30th. We have to get all these petitions in the Secretary of State's hands by December 30th. But we want to set a shorter deadline on that. And I'll tell you what, Virgil, we're approaching it several ways, but a key part of this is what Scott's involved in, is basically we're building a volunteer army here. Like I don't think anybody's ever done in Oregon before. We have 3,700 volunteers that have signed up to help with this petition. Now, I know not every one of those is going to be active, but it does tell me they went out of their way to go to a website and fill out a form and check a box that says, I want to help. That's significant.
What was that website, Ed?
notaxor.com.
I don't want to miss that part. So this is,
and so real quick, we have this volunteer army, and then we have guys like Scott who have stepped up to captain regions within the state. And we have about, I think, over 60 petition captains at this point. And each volunteer is assigned a captain, and they're working their area. They're identifying locations, venues, and events that are going on. They're putting a plan together, area by area, and every one of those petition captains also has their own goal for signatures. And if you look at it this way, and this is what I keep telling everybody, if we have 2,000 volunteers, that's 50 signatures each. I could go downtown in an afternoon and get 50 signatures.
Yep.
We could finish this. I want the petition captains and the volunteers to think in days, not months. This is a sprint, not a marathon. We have to have that mindset because we have very little time, but we can do it with an organization, active engagement of these volunteers.
I think it's an amazing movement, and I'm sure it wasn't cheap either. I mean, there's been some dollars spent to make this thing happen. I don't know if you can touch on that or not.
We have not spent a dime. I got the first invoice that I saw today. So we have it's just starting to roll in. It's been a grassroots organic effort, but our spending will come in on the grassroots side for printing. I should say I haven't seen the invoice yet, but we bought some signs and some posters and some banners. So we bought that. There's costs there. We're paying for all the printing. So we're going to have a pretty extensive cost there. We're paying for all the postage. So all the petition captains will have a way we've identified this is the kind of packing we're going to do. This is how it's going to be sent back to us. And so that's where a lot of the costs are going to come in for us. We've set a budget for that. And there's some other things that accompany this. So we've got this volunteer army. We've got this going. Our goal for that army is to get 100% of all the signatures that we need. However, we have two other avenues available. One is the e-signature sheets. Okay, we're going to spread that out on social media like nobody's business, and get the word out that way. So we encourage as many people as possible to download that, sign it, mail it back to us. The other thing we're going to do is we're raising money so we can have a mass mailing of petition sheets. So figure this: if you find this is so wildly popular, right, Virgil? We know
Very
based
much.
on the testimony we saw. We did a poll. 87% of Oregonians polled agree with us that this should go to a vote of the people. So we're quite confident if we can target certain households and identify 3 to 5 voters in those households, that'll return it if we give them a self-addressed stamped envelope along with the petition sheet, asking them sign this sheet, put it in this envelope, send it back to us. We're confident that if we send, say, 100,000 mailers, we will get 40,000 signatures back. And so we're actively raising the money for that, to do that as quickly as we can. Jason Williams with Taxpayers Association, he's a co-chief petitioner. He's on this. That's his baby there, is to get that mailer out to the right people and guarantee a good return rate. And he's on it.
Well, I think to me, I'm excited about this petition, but I'm also excited about the fact that, like you said, we're building an army, and there's going to be there will be elections that come up. There will be other things that happen. We can use the same tool, and that's pretty exciting.
So we're not only building an army of volunteers, we're building an infrastructure that we can reuse. And we've learned a lot of things. There's some things we're definitely going to do differently moving forward, but we'll have this infrastructure in place for the next referendum, the next petition, whatever it may be. And I'm pretty pumped about it. This, what's happened here on this thing, Virgil, is outrageous to me. We had a bill that was wildly unpopular, and the governor shoved it down Oregonians' throats. They rammed it down our throats. They knew it wasn't popular, and they did it anyway.
Yeah, they didn't care.
That's just so cynical. And the other cynical move is when the governor hears there's going to be a referendum, she doesn't sign the bill.
Right.
She delays signing, cutting into our time that we have to gather signatures. That was the only reason that we're aware of. She's never given any other reason for it.
It was very cowardly. Very cowardly done.
Yeah, total cynical move.
Yeah.
And so people are pissed off.
Yeah.
They're rightly pissed off. And so what I tell people is, look, you guys, they need to know that we're here and we're not going to put up with this bullshit.
Right.
Stand up, and we're going to show you cannot get away with this anymore. And the way it works in that building, is the governor strategically put this bill together to shut up the lobby groups, special interest groups, the ones that would normally fund a referendum, the ones that would normally push for it. She shut them up by appeasing them, but she did not shut up the Oregon people.
No.
They're pissed. They're loud. They're going to get on the street. We're going to get these signatures. So I think we're catching them off guard. But what this will do when we do this, referendum, and those taxes cannot go into effect, we are forcing a conversation. Now they have to come to the table and work something out that the Oregon people can agree with. We want maintenance before we want EV subsidies. We want maintenance before we want boondoggle bridges. We can have that conversation now. That is what we're doing. And we're setting the stage for all future discussions about tax and fee increases. We've changed the conversation because of this one move. This referendum will have repercussions for years to come on that front. I'm convinced of it. So this is much bigger than this referendum. And so I think the Oregon people see that. I think that's why these volunteers are so pumped up, and why we have petition captains like Scott that are on this thing. This is a big deal, and it will have long-term ramifications.
Yeah, I think a constitution change would actually be in order. This sounds crazy, but I'd like to see it where when a tax is passed, that once it gets out of the legislature, it has to go to 36 county representatives, and then it has to pass all 36 counties before.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
That would be a constitution change, and I doubt that that's ever going to see the ballot.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be incredible?
Right.
I want to acknowledge a couple people here. Bob Murray has joined us tonight. He's going to have a booth, I believe, going. Also, I saw Annette Perkins is going to have something going on at Myrtle Creek at the Penny Pincher, I believe. So that's great. I mean, we've got people that are ready to roll with this thing. And it's pretty cool.
I'd like to talk about what, at some point, Virgil, what we're focusing on with the referendum. We're not referring the entire bill.
Yeah.
And I'd like to share what the strategy is behind that.
That was going to be my next topic, Ed. So please go ahead and do that. And that's been a question. I know it was questioned on social media, and so yes, please explain.
I tried to respond to that today in a little video clip I did, but this referendum is focused on 4 elements, the 4 most egregious elements that we have in the bill, and the ones that got the ire up of the Oregon people. Number 1 is the gas tax increase, 15% increase. The other one is the registration fees increases. Some of them doubled. The title fee increase. And then the statewide payroll transit tax doubling. I think we're the only state in the country that has a statewide tax for mass transit. Whether or not you even live in a town that has mass transit, you're paying for it, and they want to double that.
Yes, we'll pay for Portland.
Yeah. So those 4 things are what we're referring. So I get asked, well, why are you not referring the entire bill? And it's a good question, but there are some good reasons for that. And I'll give you a couple of them. For one, the bill eliminates the tolling language that's in current statute that was put in place in 2017. That's a good thing. We want that tolling language out of legislation. So we don't want to refer that. We don't want to pull that out.
Right.
Another big thing is that the truckers, as you know, fought for years to get what they call parity. Basically, our state constitution says you have to treat heavy trucks and light vehicles the same. They have to pay their fair share for the roads.
Right.
And right now it's out of whack.
They've been overpaying. Yeah.
So there's legislation in place that will kind of force balance there, that will bring things more to parity between the truckers and there's heavy truckers, light trucks, and then the light duty vehicles. So we definitely don't want to take something out that the truckers have fought a long time to get. Then there's also some oversight and accountability items in this thing that I don't feel go far enough, but they're a step in the right direction. I don't see why we'd pull that out either. So there's a lot of good reasons to do what we're doing. So basically, the chunk of this bill that raises your taxes over $4 billion, that's what we're bringing to the voters.
Yeah. Well, and thanks for explaining that, because I've had, we have people, I guess, social media warriors that don't understand what it is we're actually doing, and they needed this. This is probably the most informative ever been.
And let's just be real straight up. I know that there's some people, and I've talked to them, that there's other things they'd like to take out too, and I get it. But we're trying to get a win here, right? Yeah. So what is it that we can most effectively communicate to the voters, the things that they're most ticked off about? Let's focus on those.
Yeah.
And then that forces a conversation over the entire thing to fix it, to fix ODOT, to reprioritize. So we did this with a lot of thought and some thinking about strategy. The other thing is it keeps the referendum short. If I got to mail this petition out to 100,000 households and I have a 54-page referendum, if someone wants to pay me for that, that's fine. But right now we don't have the money for that. So there's just some practical elements to this strategy as well.
So that's amazing, and thank you for all the effort that you and actually the other folks behind you put into this thing. I think it's very important.
We have a great team. I want to give a shout out to Jody Fleck.
Yep.
Jody Fleck is our grassroots director. She is doing an amazing job and working extremely hard, and has put a tremendous amount of thought into how to organize this. So her and I are on the phone a lot, figuring out how to make a system out of this thing. And she gets it. She's got great ideas, and she's on it. Nick Stark with the Freedom Coalition has been awesome. And then we have, we got Jason Williams and Senator Starr. John Swanson has also been influential in his role as well to help keep this thing rolling.
Ed, you came to me a few months back and talked about this Oregon Freedom Coalition idea that you put together, and it's been amazing. I mean, it's a grassroots organization that just absolutely, the power that we have is growing, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. I can't tell you that I've been the most active part of it because I've been kind of busy doing other stuff, but I'm here. I'm part of it, and I'm proud to be part of it along with the other legislators.
I'm so glad you are part of it, and I think I said from the beginning I want to build a grassroots machine to take our state back, and this has provided that opportunity to do that. The governor has given us this gift.
I don't understand. I mean, in my opinion, she has done so many egregious things in her time in the last 4 years that to get reelected, it's almost like she doesn't even think she's touchable. She because who does this right before an election? I mean, it's nuts.
I really don't. It's really tone deaf.
Yeah.
I see it. The reason this fires me up so much as it does, Virgil. Well, for one, I don't want to pay any more taxes.
No,
but I see it time and time again in that building where that legislature takes votes that go against the will of the people in this state over and over again, and they deny hearings on bills over and over again that I know are wildly popular with the Oregon people. They are betting that we're not paying attention. And this effort here is going to let them know that we are paying attention. And I'm just, it's gone too far. It's gone too far. I think a lot of Oregon people feel it. They don't feel their voices heard. We're not given. Everybody here is coming together to make sure their voice is heard.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And on that topic, a little off the transportation, but I had a half-hour Zoom meeting yesterday with a strategist for ODO, for Oregon Department of Energy, and he asked me for my input because I'm on the Climate, Energy, and Environment Committee. He asked for my input on what he thought or what I thought ODO should be focusing on going into the future. And I said, and you want to do this in a half hour? I said, this might take more than a half hour and probably a few beers. But I said, I'll give it to you in a nutshell. I said, you guys continue to hurt the people that you say you're helping. I said, what's happening right now is you're forcing people to go to green energy. You're forcing electric companies to buy into green energy, which is more expensive. We don't have the ability to produce it. And if we did have the ability to produce it, we don't have the infrastructure to put it out there. And we don't have the transmission lines. And I said, and by the way, all of our lines that we have right now, the main lines from Bonneville and everywhere else, they're all at least 70 to 100 years old. And I go, so if you want to talk about where to spend the money, let's spend money and time focusing on improving and making our infrastructure more resilient first and foremost. And I said, and then let the green energy movement happen as it would happen with capitalism. If people decide it's cheaper to buy, solar energy, which, fine. And then I had to go into I always give them the education about how I'm sitting in my office in Roseburg and it's foggy and rainy and we don't have solar. There's nothing that's going to make solar. And the thing is, and this is how it ended up with him. And, I was professional, but I said, here's what I see the state trying to do. And ironically, the very next day, Pacific Court talked about bankruptcy, but, I feel like our state, and I don't think they're doing it. I don't think they have a written schedule somewhere. I believe this is our majority party. It's a liberal socialist movement to take over the utilities in the state. And once the state takes over the control of the energy and the cost, then what they'll do is we will pay our electric bills every month, which mine is doubled, by the way. We'll pay our electric bills, and those that can't afford to pay their electric bills, that's okay because they'll tax the rest of us and we'll pay for them.
Right.
It's called social.
Yep, it is. And we are paying through the hilt for these mandates and these goals. Yeah. I'd like to read you a quote, and I want you to guess who said this, okay?
Okay.
There's a doomsday view of climate change that goes like this. In a few decades, cataclysmic climate change will decimate civilization. The evidence is all around us. Just look at all the heat waves and storms caused by rising global temperatures. Nothing matters more than limiting the rise in temperature. Fortunately for all of us, this view is wrong.
Who said that?
Who said that?
I would say Al Gore probably was the one that wrote it, but
well, no. Who said it was wrong? That view is wrong.
Ronald Reagan.
It might have been Reagan.
No, it's Bill Gates.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Gates,
like
2 weeks ago.
I mean, I would have said it. It could have been me.
Yeah, it could have been me too. But it's a great article that he wrote. If you go to gatesnotes.com, it's at the top. But he goes on to say, basically, he's reiterating what we said. We are diverting all this money and resources towards something that is not providing a benefit for humanity. Right. We're so focused on carbon that we're ignoring things that benefit the human condition.
Yeah.
And he's exactly right. And he's not going so far to say that climate change doesn't exist and there's not a problem. He's just saying this doomsday view is absurd, and we have to take a more pragmatic view, and also recognize that instead of pumping all this money into these green energy goals, maybe we should pave our roads. Maybe we should make sure people have good paying jobs. There's a lot of other things that we need to prioritize and look at it in a real cost benefit analysis way.
The cost is too high to be wrong, and I don't think they're right. And I mean, literally, like, so the very next day, this morning actually, I had a call with some lobby for the electric companies, and the movement. You're going to see this ad coming up in the short session. They're trying to push a bill to take out the dams. They want the dams. 85% of the electricity in Douglas County comes from Snake River dams. I say that 85% of the electricity from Douglas Electric, which is a large portion of our rural section, that's where the power comes from.
I know.
When that power is gone, then that means Douglas Electric has to go buy it from somewhere else so they can sell it to us, and it's going to be more expensive. And they're going to not only are they going to jack our rates, at some point, the state won't allow utility companies they can't make money, right? I mean, so it's like, at what point do you just throw in the towel and go, well, it's killing the people that they say they're supposed to help, right? And I don't get it. And again, I don't think there's any party that has enough common sense to sit there and write this out as a plan. I think they're just going down this path of stupid, and they don't know how to stop it.
Well, and they're not. They have all these grand plans for society. They want healthcare for all, right? They want free healthcare for all. They have this view of the environment like that, but they're not. Nobody's willing to pay the bill for this utopia.
They have to force you to pay the bill,
right? And people have finally had it and saying, no, I am not going to pay any more into this because I am not seeing a benefit for it.
Right.
Like I was talking to a business up in Portland, who's, I don't know how many employees he has, over 100 employees, and he's looking at moving out.
Yeah.
Looking at Arizona, actually. He came from New York, and he said, when I was in New York, I paid a lot in taxes, but I got something for it.
Yeah.
When I come here to Oregon, I'm paying a lot in taxes and I'm not getting anything for it.
No, except harassment from agencies. That's what you get.
Yeah.
If you want to run under the radar, you know,
Right.
just run your business illegally. I mean, you might be okay, but yeah, it's crazy. I also, real quick, I want to acknowledge Tracy Vandola. She's great. She's always a big supporter of our show, as well as Iris Butler. And I hope you guys don't think I'm ignoring you. I see your comments and your questions. And we only got an hour to put this together because it goes to the radio station. At least we're supposed to be on the radio station. I don't know when. But so sometimes we're a little bit hurried, but
And I'm happy to answer questions, Virgil, if people have them.
yeah, if you have questions, now would be a great time. We have about 8 minutes left. So now would be a great time to ask them if anybody has any questions regarding tonight's show, or for that matter, just whatever you'd like to ask.
Well, you have some.
I don't see anything coming in now.
Well, for people, if they want to stay up to date of where they can sign, if they go to notaxor.com, we'll keep them up to date on signing locations. And you can also go, if you want to help us make history here in Oregon, and volunteer to gather signatures, even if it's 50 signatures.
It matters.
Go to notaxor.com, sign up to volunteer, get trained, get your 5 sheets, and you're rocking and rolling.
Melissa, thank you so much for your comment. And Bob, I agree with you 100%. Bob says we need to do away with cat tax.
Amen.
We've tried. It's the first
Yeah.
bill out of the chute was to try to get rid of the cat tax. What we have to do to get rid of the cat tax is get rid of the Democrats first. But you know, sadly, I mean, I'm obviously trying to just be funny, but sadly, the problem with taxes in Oregon is once the tax is established, there's a place for the money to go, and right now that money's going to education, which is obviously failing. But once a tax is already in effect, it's almost impossible to make the money up anywhere else. So it goes away.
You're right. The other thing, there's this game they constantly play where they'll contort themselves to say, well, this isn't really a tax, it's a fee.
Yeah.
And this is a disaster in the waiting, and we should talk about this at some point in the future, is this climate protection program.
Oh yeah, we could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, we should, but that's our next target, I think, is going after that climate protection program.
That's hundreds of millions of wasted dollars, and well wasted. It goes to the Democrat Party. I don't want to get into it tonight. There's just too much to talk about. Kevin had a question. I'm not sorry, Kevin. Justin had a question, and then Kevin just popped up. Justin's question was, when does the tax go into effect? The referendum.
I believe it was set for the 91st day after sine die, so it would be December 31st.
Okay.
That's when it's supposed to go into effect. So the effect of us gathering these signatures and validating them is we could, as soon as they're validated, that those taxes cannot go into effect. So I'm quite sure when we submit our 100,000 signatures, they're gonna put everything on hold until it comes to a vote, and it'll be on the November 2026 ballot.
And that's something we need to talk about too, but probably for a later show. Is I suspect the Democrats will try to move that to a different vote day, and they can do that through the legislature.
And the way I've described that is,
Cowards.
the governor has thumbed her nose at the Oregon people. Moving this date would be giving them the middle finger.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be so egregious for them to do that, and so cynical for them to do that. But we know that's a possibility.
So a couple of online questions. Kevin Taggart, he's asking, will there be a social media blitz to let people know about the print at home signature pages? And I think we probably should do that. I know there's a social media blitz going right now already, but I don't know about that part of it.
No, there will absolutely be a social media blitz.
Okay.
And we're not planning on using any paid advertising on this. There might be a little bit, but I'm just looking at what we were able to accomplish organically as it is. 3,700 volunteers. I don't know, 30,000 people signed up on our site to follow this. That's
Right.
That's all organic.
Right.
Not a dime of marketing dollars spent.
Right.
So I think we'll be able to get the word out about this e-signature sheet. It'll go viral on social media.
So Steve Palmer has asked a couple of times, what's the plan for ODOT when it snows around here? I think he's from Camas Valley.
Yeah.
There was a plan. The Republican leadership and caucus put together a plan to deal with the amount of money needed to handle this. I don't think your ODOT services are going to go away. This is going to force them to be able to find another way.
This is really important for people to understand. The governor has said if we don't pass these taxes, we can't plow roads. And that's a false choice.
Yep.
That is a false choice. That may be a decision that the governor and past legislatures have made on how dollars can be spent. But that can change. It can change through legislation. And that's all we're saying.
And this is how you do it.
Yeah. Align the priorities of ODOT with the priorities of the Oregon people. Oregon people want maintained roads and, fix the potholes and have plowed roads. They want that before EV subsidies. They want that before, like I said earlier, the boondoggle bridges.
Yeah, $29 million to DEI. Yeah. I don't want to see a single ODOT person lose a job. I really don't.
No, and they won't. There's no need for them to lose. Well, there might be some managers that do. There might be some senior management that do. There's a guy you need to get on here to talk about the Interstate Bridge Project. His name is John Lee. He's a Washington State representative. I bet you he would love to talk to you. He's a great guy, and he knows that Interstate Bridge Project inside and out. So
I'm making a note right now.
Get in touch with him. His last name is Ley, and I'll connect you.
Okay, so we are down to about a minute or so, maybe two, and I just want to get Trent. I'm sorry, you haven't said a whole lot tonight. But
No, I'm just taking it in.
This program is dedicated to Ed because Ed has the information we needed to share, and I think this is incredible. I hope everybody that watched this tonight will follow us and share this information. I mean, literally, there's 100 ways to do it. Let's get it done. Let's get the word out. Ed, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I just I'll just end saying how much I appreciate the volunteers that have stepped up to make this happen. I'll tell you, a lot of people don't think we can do this. They don't think we can do it with a volunteer effort. And I take that as a challenge.
That's right.
We will pull this off. And I can't, the gratitude I have to the volunteers and to the petition captains that are dedicating a good amount of time to make this happen is awesome.
Right. Yeah. Amen to that. Thank you, Ed, for joining us tonight. And hopefully we'll have you back again. We love having you on. Trent.
Yeah.
I want to thank Ed again, man. This has been just awesome. Of course, I got to hear him last night say all this on the ORP meeting and stuff, but this is going to be a win. To me, this isn't a political thing. This is an Oregon thing. I was born here, raised here. I'm native, and this is an Oregon thing. And
this is, yeah. We have there's definitely Republicans helping. We've got NAVs helping. We've got Democrats helping. We got Libertarians. We got Constitution Party guys helping. This is a all partisan or nonpartisan issue. It's an 87% issue.
Right.
There's very few issues that hit 87%.
And speaking of Constitution Party, I shout out to Eddie Renfro. Ed, I got your message today.
Hey.
Forgot to call you back, but I will. I promise.
Ed's on fire. He's got places lined out. He's committed to get few thousand signatures, I think, just on his own.
But I think he will. I mean,
Yeah,
the guy
will.
his butt
I'm
off.
I'm convinced he will.
I talked
Yeah.
to him today, and he's fired up.
Yeah. So with that, as much as I wish we could keep going on, and we're gonna have to end for the night. But I want to thank you, Ed, for joining us. Thank you, Trent, for co-hosting this with me. Thank you, everybody that's watching us. Please like and follow us. And again, subscribe, yes, and then we'll pop up on your YouTube. And thank you so much for all of the folks that are staying with us here. And we've had great support. Over 450,000 people in our last count that were coming and watching at some point, seeing what we're doing. So I guess until next week, I'm available. Ed's available. You can get a hold of us. notaxor.com, right?
notaxor.com. Yeah.
And remember, we are here for you guys. So we are here to do the job that the public wants us to do. And if you need to get a hold of us, please do, and don't hesitate to do that. So Ed, thank you. Have a wonderful night. And until next week, we'll see everybody then. Thank you.
Awesome. Take care, all.
See ya.
Is your 4x4 ready for the trail? Twin Peaks Off-Road is your first stop for maintenance, repairs, and custom upgrades. From differential services to winch installs, we do it all. Fast, reliable, and built for adventure. Don't wait for breakdowns in the backcountry. Call Twin Peaks Off-Road today at 541-900-0015 or visit twinpeaksoffroad.net. Keep your 4x4 off the roads and in the adventure.